Next up in the Star Wars universe, no, I'm just kidding. Um, but okay, so the Keiber Belt, this collection of huge rocks in the middle of our galaxy that separates our planets. Now, a lot of these scientists want to say that this is the primordial rock that came from the soup that was the creation of our universe, or our local solar system here, rather. Um, but the problem I have with that is, then why aren't there more sections of these rocks in such high concentration in between the other planets? Some people will be like, oh, the gravitational pull, and that's kind of a huge area. Okay, yeah, but there still should be a lot more then. And don't get me wrong, people would say, well, there were a long time ago, and they just kind of, that's how it settled. Okay, but I also challenge you with this. If these rocks are moving around as fast as they are at highly deadly speeds, and they're banging into each other and whatever else, shouldn't they be smaller than what they are? Why are they still there? Why isn't it just dust? Like around Saturn, where it's a lot of smaller rocks um, and you know dust particulates. No, what I think, I read this book, so credit out to the Atlantis Enigma book. I believe that was the one I read, and by Herbie Brennan. He talks about how that used to be a planet, and that planet uh, was destroyed, either by an outside influence, or its own internal thermodynamics, or by war. The ancient people talk about these beings being on another planet, and they went to war on the various planets around us. And if you look at the Mesopotamians and Phoenicians, I think even some of the ancient Asian cultures, they talk about there being multiple planets that we had in our solar system. Where a lot of people want to discount it and say, well, I don't see any planets. Well, if you have a huge section where a planet could be, and it's in rubble, have we not watched Star Wars? Planets can turn to rubble. They came from hot rubble, they can return to cold rubble. All right, so I believe his theory, which is also my theory, is that Keiber Belt used to be um, a place where a planet was. Maybe it hit another planet and destroyed. Maybe it was two planets there that finally collided. Maybe one came into our system, Planet X, or Nibiru as they call it. Maybe that was Nibiru. Maybe Nibiru came in and hit it. Maybe Nibiru is still out there circulating. Maybe they grazed each other. I don't know. But I refuse to believe that these large chunks that are still here, in between where exactly a planet looks like it could have been, that looked like it could have been. And wouldn't it make sense if there was a planet there and it had water or ice on it, and it exploded or blew up? Wouldn't that kind of answer the questions of why the moon has traumatic um, pot marks or meteor strikes on one side versus the other? Um, 10,000, 12,000 years ago, the ancient flood of Noah that sank Atlantis. And he said it rained down fire and rained for like 40 days. Wouldn't that kind of make sense if something like that exploded in 10,000, 12,000 years ago? That's why those rocks are still in large formation. They haven't atomized each other by now, and they're still here, and they're right where a planet used to be. And our planet has a wobble in it for some unknown reason. It happens every 26,000 years, which is roughly, I don't know, half of about the 12 and a half, 13,000 year mark. So maybe the universe, the Earth, it remembers that catastrophic effect that kind of threw it off balance. If it happened, I don't know. Just throwing out some things to make you think. Um, but even in some of the ancient books, I think like the Book of the Hopi or the Cherokee, they talk about there used to be no winter, that the ground used to just, form dewdrops on the grass, and that we could harvest twice a year. And they talk about a time when the planet, or the moon rather, came into being. So it was brought here, or it floated into place. But don't you think it's interesting that it doesn't rotate? I mean, it rotates with the planet Earth, but it personally doesn't rotate. I don't know. It's just mysteries, things to think about. Why do we only see one side of the moon? And even though we call the other side the dark side, that's actually the side that gets light. We just call it dark because we can't see it. but why? What are the odds that it would come into place and be perfectly positioned for eclipses, and we can't see what goes on the other side? I don't know, just things that make you go, Anyway, that's about it. That's my theory. Like it, love it, or leave it. That's your boy, Obsidian Black, or IL, and I'm out.